Today we're talking about my 3 most carried knives of 2024. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Crossing Copper EDC, everybody. My name's Carson, and I'm so glad you are here with us today. If you're new here, go subscribe below. It really helps the channel a lot. Today we're talking all about my most carried knives of 2024. The 3 knives that have not left my pocket much in this last year. I'd love to get to know you and what knives you have carried the most in 2024. So drop a comment below, like this video, and comment what knives you've carried the most in 2024 and what knives you think will be at the top of your list in 2025. So without further ado, before we get into the main subject of the video, next week is Christmas, and I want us to all make sure we take some time and remember the true reason for the season. The reason for the season, the most amazing gift we've ever been given, and that is Jesus Christ, God sending his son to die on the cross for you and me. And we celebrate his birth on Christmas. That's the true meaning. I also challenge each and every one of you to spend some time with your family and make the moments count. So let's get right into today's video. We're talking about those 3 knives that have been in my pocket the most in the year of 2024. So, first knife on the list should come as no surprise to many of you, and that is my Case Sod Buster Jr. in gray bone and carbon steel. This knife has been an amazing blade for me this entire year. It has been in my pocket an absolute ton. I think this has probably been my most carried knife for the year of 2024. It's an amazing profile you see here, that very utilitarian blade from Case. In its carbon steel, you see it's discolored. I love how it patinas because of that carbon steel. The gray bone handles, or green, whatever you want to call them. My wife thinks they're green. I say they're gray, but you know, to each their own. The gray bone is just beautiful to me. The really nice case shielding there. And one thing I love about this Sod Buster versus some of the other ones I've handled is how thin it is. It is very thin, and it fits in the pocket greatly. And that's what makes it so enjoyable to carry, is it just disappears in the pocket. So this is an amazing knife that I would recommend to anybody. A good Case Sod Buster Jr. Especially in the carbon steel, it sharpens up really quickly, holds a decent edge, stays hair popping sharp, and just the traditional classic nostalgia of this knife is it's unparalleled in my opinion. So you know me, I had to put a Case knife on the list. So the Case Sod Buster Jr. is probably my most carried knife for the entire year of 2024. It has really found a solid place in the rotation of my collection. The second knife we're going to talk about today, which I have full videos on all of these knives, and I'll link them up here. The Case Sod Buster video, I'll link it. And the next knife, my Spyderco Native 5 lightweight in S110. I'll link the full video for it and its story up above. That's one great thing about knives, is the stories we carry with them. Yes, they're just objects and tools and great, just fun things to talk about, but the stories we hold with them are so fun as well. That's one thing I had to mention about this Case Sod Buster. I've had this knife for exactly a year next Wednesday. Next Wednesday's Christmas, and I got this knife from my parents last Christmas, and it has been a phenomenal present. And every time I carry it, I think of them and just cherish this. So I had to mention it on the week before Christmas. So the Spyderco Native 5 lightweight. This, in my opinion, now opinions are not few and far between, but everybody has one. The Spyderco Native 5, especially this lightweight version with the S110 steel, it is probably one of my favorite Spyderco models there is. It's so ergonomic. melts in the hand. You instantly go up to that, I would call that a finger choil, or part of the handle. You instantly go there. It melts into the hand. The leaf-shaped blade, especially in that S110 steel, super slicey, super sharp, takes a fantastic edge, great corrosion resistance. All around, the Native 5 is probably at least in the top 3 models of Spyderco, in my opinion. It's just a great design. It is a no-nonsense, no frills. It's a backlock, nothing special, but it does everything great. I know some people count it off because it's a backlock and they like the compression lock or a liner lock, but I think the Native 5 is a high contender for Spyderco's best knife ever, in my opinion. A lot of people would argue the PM2, the PM3, but there's just something about the simplicity of the Native 5, of that backlock, that is just very nice. It's, in my opinion, it's basically a budget-friendly Shaman that's smaller. If you like the Shaman, like the aesthetics of it, there's a lot of similarities between the Native 5 and the Shaman. And it's a great, great overall EDC piece that finds its way in my pocket when I want no frills, nothing fancy, but just a simple thing that's going to work its tail off. The Native 5. I mean, you can't beat it. And this one has a pretty awesome story to it as well. So if you haven't heard the story of my Spyderco Native 5, go check out the video on it and how, when my wife gave me this knife, my whole life changed. So I highly encourage that really cool story, but awesome, awesome knife. The Spyderco Native 5, one of the 3 knives that I've carried the most this year. And then probably my 3rd most carried knife this year should be a surprise to none, the Benchmade 940. This is a tried and true staple of my collection, and my brother, another Christmas gift. A lot of these have been, well, there's only 3 knives on the list, but 2 of the 3 knives have been Christmas gifts. The Case Sod Buster Jr. came from my parents last year, and I believe 3 years ago, if I'm correct, when my brother graduated from basic training in the Army, he went to one of the supply stores there on base, and they had this Benchmade, and it was really the first very nice gift he gave me. And me, my brother, and my dad, we always exchange knives over the holidays. So, you know, just the knives and EDC is something that runs deep in my family and interest in it. So it's always so fun around this time of the year to shop for my brother or my dad and fun things to get them. So love this time of year, especially for the family, but most importantly for the real reason for the season. But this is one of my favorite Christmas gifts I've ever gotten. You know, it's Benchmade's, in my opinion, one of their flagship models. People would argue that, and I think just like with the bug out, the community around the 940 is very polarizing. People either love it or hate it, and I happen to be one of the people that loves this knife. Is it the prettiest knife ever? No, but it just fits my hand well. I love the axis lock. Steel on the knife. It's S30V, I almost said S90V, but S30V. So great steel, takes a good edge, and it's just a workhorse. I mean, I've done everything from take down boxes to cutting drywall to cutting pieces of cheese for for my kids to eat. But very fidgety, as is that axis lock. But highly recommend Benchmade 940. So that's really it for this video. I just wanted to give you the rundown of my 3 most carried knives for this year. And I really recommend each one of these knives to anybody. If you're looking for a solid choice for yourself, for somebody else, I know it's a little late to be buying stuff for Christmas, but the Native 5 Lightweight, I feel like it's one of the most slept on patterns or models. Patterns, models, same thing. From Spyderco. Great knife. Super utilitarian. Amazing ergos. Can't recommend it enough. And I love that S110 steel. I'm not a steel snob. I like nice steels. I like my carbon steel on my case just as much too, but it's a great knife. The S30V, Benchmade 940, true staple. Fidgety, love that green, and that purple anodized backspacer. Let's see if you can catch that there. Just that little pop of color. You got to have a little pop of fun in your EDC here and there. And then, you know me, I'm a lover of traditionals, lover of classics. So the Case Sod Buster had to be on the list. These are my 3 most carried knives for the year. Leave a comment below of what your most carried knives for 2024 are. And what do you think your most carried knife for 2025 is? I'd love to know in the comments below. If you're not following us on Instagram, go follow us. I'll link the Instagram page below at Crossing Copper EDC. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. And thank you for each and every one of you for watching this video and making this hobby so great of EDC. I hope and pray you all have an amazing day and an amazing Christmas. And remember, EDC is not just what's in your pockets, but it's what's in your hearts and minds as well. So make sure you make everybody your EDC help you have a great day. God bless.